Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and today I have a bright and happy and light and airy card, kind of a birthday celebration, using lots of the brand new release from Reverse Confetti. I'm starting off by using the Party and Celebrate word dies, and I'm going to use them as a stencil for this card. So I already have a panel of white cardstock that I've trimmed down slightly smaller than an A2 card. I think I went about 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have a larger piece and I'm die cutting the party word from it. This is going to create my stencil, and I'm taping it in place with a little bit of post-it tape so I know it'll kind of hold where I want it. I'm going to do some ink blending over that as a stencil. I'm using Iced Aqua Reverse Confetti dye ink, and this is just a makeup brush that I like to use for blending. And I'm just kind of gently doing that over the top, especially that little spot on the A. You don't want to mush that around too much or you'll lose your definition on that word. And then once I've done that ink blending on there, I'm coming over it with some Nuvo shimmer paste. It's just clear, sparkly shimmer paste, and it's going to add great texture and sparkle, but you'll still be able to see the color underneath from the ink blending. Look at that, isn't that fun? It's a lot of texture, and I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. And while that dries, I've already stamped out a few images from the cute Party Animal stamp set. I'm coloring them in with Copic markers. I'm doing some really, really simple coloring on this. I kind of sped it up so that you could watch, but pretty much for each section I'm just using one single Copic color. I'm not even doing any blending. These are nice, super soft colors to kind of blend with the color of the word stenciling I did on that word. I wanted it to be a really light, airy color scheme, so I kept my coloring simple for that reason as well. I'm going to go ahead and pause my talking and let you listen to some music while I finish coloring, and then we'll move on to the next part of the card. So once those were all colored, I went ahead and used the Reverse Confetti Party Animals confetti cuts, the coordinating dies to those, and I cut all those images out. Now I wanted to add some black splatters to my background, but I really don't want it to get on my sparkly party word, so I like to use a little bit of post-it tape just to kind of mask that out so that it will protect it. I have a box to protect my work surface, and I'm using a thin brush and some black liquid watercolors to add my super fine splatters. It's a little bit hard to see on there in the box, I noticed, but once you pull it out you can see. I kept the splatters really tiny just because I wanted it just to be a little hint of texture on there. Normally I would set this aside and let it dry so I accidentally don't smudge those little black drops, but I wanted to finish filming this video, so I was just super duper careful. So I'd suggest if you have time, let them dry a little. If you're really careful though, you still can go ahead and assemble the card at this point. I'm adding foam adhesive to each of my elements on there, the monkey on the bike and the other little monkey, and also the cake. The present that I'm going to pop on there, I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive to adhere that because there's not really room to fit foam adhesive on there. Now I also have a card base that I've created from Iced Aqua Reverse Confetti cardstock, and I'm going ahead to adhere that in place as well. Notice I'm being careful again, just so I don't smudge those black splatters. And I'm going to add one more tiny additional sentiment on there from the new So Many Sentiments stamp set. I'm stamping it with Midnight Dye ink. And then the final touch that I'm adding on here, just for a little tiny bit of sparkle, is some Nuvo Crystal Glaze. Glossy Accents is another option that works really well. And I have a fine tip applicator on there, so I can just kind of add some extra shine to some certain spots on there. You can kind of see I'm being selective on the areas I'm choosing to add just a little bit of texture and shine when that all dries. And there we go, it's all finished. Thanks so much for coming by today. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.